Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and you are looking at a $5.2 million condo in Destin, Florida. Before I tell you about this, I wanted to let you know in the Patreon today, we're going to talk about how the ultra wealthy protect their wealth and try to avoid as much in taxes as possible. We're going to talk about the buy, borrow, and die strategy, and how that applies to the XRP escrow. But before we do that, you can go and you can join by going to daixrp.com. That's the Patreon, or you can click the join button below any of my YouTube videos, or you can subscribe through X. Now, you're looking at a $5.2 million condo in Destin, Florida. This came to me from my friends, my partners at Gulf of America XRP.com. They're in real estate, beachfront, Gulf of America real estate. Destin is one of the nicest places on the Gulf of America, and this is a $5.2 million condo. I received this condo because Gulf of America XRP.com, these guys send me an email every Friday with nothing but, well, mostly beachfront properties. Some of them are bayfront, but most of it's beachfront properties. This is one of the nicer that I've seen come across. Wanted to show you what if you're like me, folks, at the end of this party, you're going to be looking at real estate when it comes to when you finally hit your exit prices. And so I received these emails because I like to dream, just like a lot of you out there. And I might very well look down at the Gulf of America for myself when this is all over. If you've got a really, really, really big boatload of XRP, this might be something that you would be interested in looking at. Look at that. I don't know what I would do with myself in a place like that. Those are views. Look at all the windows. Reminds me, I mean, all you California people, I know Malibu's supposed to be great, but it's nothing compared to this. It's also nothing compared to this from a tax perspective. You guys are getting killed out there with taxes. Okay, so if you want to sign up, you can go to gulfofamericaxrp.com, and all you do is fill in your name and your last name and your first name and last name, email, and they'll put you on their tickler. You can also go in once you receive your email. You can go in and say, hey, I want to see only properties in the 200,000 to 1 million range, and then you'll only receive mailers with those types of properties. You can go in and set it up yourself. If you want to go down there and look at properties now, you can call 850-890-8884. Look at what we have. XRP's come back on up a little bit. It's at 313. Not anything too interesting. Look at this. In all my years working in crypto PR, I've never seen a project hide good PR. The trend has always been announce anything and everything with two logos. Ripple has 500 plus clients, yet we know a few. They had 1,700 plus NDAs. You don't hide something small, you hide something big. Well, I think he's over the target there. Here's Sal Gerberti. He was on Paul Barron's show. He is the Ethereum, the two-time XRP ETF. And this guy, he's one of the most bullish people on XRP.
You guys have been around for a long time, so you've seen these market cycles ebb and flow. And now we're in one where digital assets are now finally kind of growing up and making their way to Wall Street and their trek to Washington and all of that. You say it's a nascent market. How big could this be?
I think that crypto can be bigger than anyone imagines, because the people who focus on cap table and say there's not enough money to make these cap tables that big, that's not true, because it's got nothing to do with the amount of money. I mean, it does have to do with the amount of money, but not all of the crypto is going to be out there trading. So the cap table, it's like an AI company being worth, $500 billion. It's because there are only a limited number of shares that actually trade on it. And so that's how it's going to work with crypto. People are going to buy it and hold it and store it. What's Ripple going to do with its 40 billion XRP? Given that they filed to be a bank, there's one of the leading theories that they just hold that on their balance sheet. They get their banking license and they become a top 20 capitalized bank in the world. That's with XRP at $3. XRP goes to, some multiple of $3. They become a top 10 bank or even the top bank in terms of capitalization. That's pretty astounding.
That would be insanely astounding, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on that idea.
He just hit on something and he hits it again here, I think. If you're listening, Sal Gilberti may have just let the cat out of the bag, folks. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about in the group, the buy, borrow, die strategy. I'm telling you, folks, I'll expound on it in the group.
Biggest XRP catalyst that you think will happen? I mean, the banking license, one, sure, for Ripple. Obviously, we've already seen quite a few, but there's also involvement in potentially a SWIFT movement in terms of cross-border payments. What would be your catalyst that you think would move the market?
I think those are both catalysts. I think that it's hard to say. If they get approved as a bank and then announce they're not going to sell any more XRP onto the market because they want to capitalize the bank, I think that would be an enormous impetus for price. That's gigantic. But then I think as SWIFT breaks down and ISO 222, I think that they're not projecting SWIFT to use it for a few years yet to be totally compliant with that. Whereas I think that when Ripple flips all the switches and all these NDAs they talk about come alive, and when you start seeing banks announce, we did this much on the blockchain ledger in terms of moving your money, and we did this much on SWIFT, and the SWIFT is going down and blockchain's going up. I think that's a big deal. And there's another point to be made here for the economy as a whole. Most people don't understand that banks have to keep capital in both places. If you want to send money from Miami to Tokyo, okay, banks have to have money in Tokyo and money in Miami under the current system. That all goes away. All that capital is going to be freed up with the blockchain. That's going to burnish the bank's balance sheets even more. But more so, they're going to be able to loan money. They're going to be able to finance their trading desks. It's going to open up so much capital to economic growth in general around the globe. It's a wonderful thing. The blockchain is literally going to open up value because it's going to unlock a lot of frozen money on the bank's balance sheets. And that's really important. Nobody seems to be talking about that.
Okay. There's a major thing missed in that video. Now, as we know, Sandy Call, Franklin Templeton, head of innovation, will be at Ripple Swell 2025. Listen to this. This is her.
Look, I think that we are going to see a massive relocation of the industry infrastructure, right? And it's going to happen so much faster than people anticipate. We like to say at Franklin Templeton, we're going to see more progress in the next 5 years than we've seen in the last 50. And that's simply because it is a superior set of rails, right? It offers you the ability to move away from this session-based 9 to 4, Monday through Friday activity to global 24/7. Right? It allows you to move away from even an enhanced T+1 settlement cycle to atomic settlement where assets and securities and assets and payments are exchanged instantaneously. It allows us to get rid of intermediaries that are toll takers and gatekeepers that add cost and fees. And it's going to allow us to reduce the amounts of collateral that we have to post to operate the system. Those are all compelling reasons. But the most compelling is going to be that the money is moving out of the traditional rails, right? The money that's coming out in stablecoins is very rarely going back into the banks when it comes off chain. People are leaving money in these wallets. It's becoming a parallel economy, and we're going to see our entire set of financial services migrate onto this parallel set. In a sense, it's like what we saw with ETFs. To go back to the point you were making, is that once it starts happening, it doesn't stop happening and it keeps spreading. And we've kind of passed that point of no return. So I think we are at the beginning of the migration. And I think that because these technologies are open source and easy to get to, it's going to happen a lot faster than anyone in the industry anticipates. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to happen fast. NASDAQ listed Wellgistics Health announces XRP ledger-based payment system for over 6,500 U.S. pharmacies. Now, there are some people that are getting a little upset about Ethereum and some things going on with Bitcoin. Listen to this. And I set up here the XRP ledger is ready. It was never Ethereum.
I don't think Ethereum is ready for prime time for real world asset issuance. Like we just
ready for cartoon monkeys and ICOs.
Witnessed with the Bybit hack that the Ethereum validator set is currently at a place where they're not really willing to do things about significant exploits. And so I would ask the entire Ethereum community, let's assume a worst case scenario happens and Tether or Circle's private keys get compromised and a hacker is now in control of the smart contract on Ethereum for USDC or USDT, including all of their freeze and seize capabilities. What do you do? Right? Like, what are you doing with your hands? What is your game plan at that point? Because it's going to break everything on that chain. And until we have significantly more mature risk management tooling around like the Ethereum product, it is not ready for prime time.
Okay, we're going to go into the group. Folks, I'll spell it out for you. Ripple's going to be an infrastructure bank. And I don't think they're going to, I think at some point they're going, I think that Sal, well, I'll just talk about it in the group. I think you just let the cat out of the bag. Go to DAIXRP.com, the Patreon, or click join below any of my YouTube videos, or hit subscribe on X and you can join. We're going to talk about what is it that's not being said about that XRP escrow. Where does this story end? I think I know. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.